What's up guys, Dave Palumbo here at the Ferrari dealership. In my new Ferrari, the 292 GTX Ferrari. It's convertible as you can see with every option. Even the steering wheel has got carbon fiber on it. I'm gonna start it up for you at the end of the video. This is a badass car. As you can see, if you can get a Ferrari, you gotta get red, right? I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. All right, Dave Palumbo here. We are at the Ferrari dealership in Newport Beach. I am seeing in a Ferrari 292 GTS. This is a badass car, and I might be driving it off the lot, or at least driving it in Florida. Once they ship it down to me, man, this is the pinnacle of cars. And if you're gonna get a Ferrari, you know, we were looking at colors, you gotta get a red Ferrari, right? You can't get black or white, or some of those other colors are pretty nice. Even the yellow one's pretty nice, but you gotta get red. And you gotta have a convertible so people can see it in the car, right? Listen, if you guys want something in life bad enough, and I always say this, I get a lot of people who contact me and they say, Dave, you know what? I wanna be a professional bodybuilder. I wanna lose a ton of weight. I wanna be a model. They send me these pictures from Instagram and they're like, I wanna look like this guy, or I wanna look like this woman. And I say, you know what? Do you think you can do it? And a lot of them tell me, I don't think I can do it. I said, well, if you don't think you can do it, then you must do it. That is the message you have to understand. If you don't think you can do something, you must do it. Because if you don't, you're never gonna achieve anything really great in life. And that's the truth. And you know what? There have been episodes in my life where I've tested the limits of myself. And these episodes that I've gotten through got me where I am today. I remember one specifically. I remember when I was running. I was a crazy distance runner. I used to run 10 miles every day, and I was completely addicted to it. And there was a huge snowstorm in New York. I was at my dad's house. We were on spring. I think it was a winter break from school, from college. And my father's like, "There's no way you're running outside." I'm like, "I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it." He's like, "There's 2 feet of snow out there." So I put on these track spikes that you run in like a gravel track with. The spikes were like this long. So I knew that if I didn't have the spikes on, I wouldn't be able to. I would kill myself. And I'd slip and fall. So I put those on and I said, all right, I'm just gonna go do a couple miles, right? Just because I don't want to get carried away. I got outside, I started running. It was brutal. It was cold, the snow was coming down, it was caking in my hair. I had like running tights on and a windbreaker jacket. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. This is, for me, even this is crazy. And I 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. I said, you know what? I'm going around the park. That means I was gonna do the 10 miles. And people were stopping. And they were like, get in, we'll drive you home. You're stuck out here. I said, no, I'm not stuck, I'm fine. Meanwhile, cars are crashing into each other and I'm running. And I said, you know what? If I could do this, I can do anything. And I ran that 10 miles and I got back and I felt so good. I felt like I could accomplish anything. There was nothing I couldn't do. I said, there's no other guy running out there right now in this snow, 10 miles. My feet were blistered from wearing the spikes, but you know what? I proved to myself that I can do something that I didn't think was possible to be done. And that helped propel me. You know, I got into medical school after that, and I achieved a lot of great things. And then I got into bodybuilding, you know, and bad things happen, you know, sometimes. And, you know, obviously you guys know my story. You know, I had to do 5 months in a federal prison. It was not fun, you know. Look, you know, it wasn't a violent crime. It wasn't like the hardest prison. I'm not going to portray I was in like Alcatraz or anything like that. But you know what? We were outside one day, and it was about February. I think it was my birthday, February 17th, which is coming up this weekend too. And it was snowing. I was in Morgantown, West Virginia. They had an outdoor facility lifting weight pit with like a canopy over it, but it was snowing so hard that the snow was coming sideways, and it was leg day. You know what they say about leg day. Never miss legs, right? Can't miss legs. So we were out there, we had 400 pounds on that bar, and I'm like, I'm gonna squat. And I was at that weight on my back, and I was wearing a winter coat with gloves and sweatpants and those steel-tipped work boots that they made you wear. And alarms are going off because this story is so crazy. And there's no mirrors, you know, all I was looking at was straight blizzard in my face. There was about 20 of us out there working out. And I squatted that 4 plates, 405 pounds. I did that, you know how many times? I did that 15 times. 15 times in the middle of the winter. And when I racked that weight, I said to the guys around me, I said, guys, remember this day for the rest of your life. Because every one of you guys, if you can do this, you can do anything in life. And you know what? One of those guys is actually a very successful, I won't say his name, but he became a professional bodybuilder too. So sometimes you got to put yourself in a position where you just say, it's impossible for me to get this done. You find a way to get it done. Just recently, you know, I'm going through a divorce. It's tough. And I'm renting this house and it has a pool, and I've been doing swimming at night. Florida got cold. I don't know what happened. It was 40 degrees. The pool, the house I just moved into, the pool heater wasn't working. The pool was 65 degrees. Yeah, I had a wetsuit I bought that I swim with. But you know what? Try getting into a 65-degree pool with 40 degrees outside. It is brutal. And I usually swim 40 laps. I said, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. But then I got mad at myself. I said, you know what, Dave? If you can do this, you can accomplish anything. And this was 2 months ago. I got in that water, it was frigid. I said, I wanted to get out so bad, but I said, you know what? Because I want to get out, I have to do this. And I swam those 40 laps, and when I got out of that water, and I got into that hot shower for 20 minutes, and got out of the hot shower, I was still freezing, shivering, chattering my teeth. But I did it. And you know what? That toughens you up. When you do things that you think you can't do and you must do, and you accomplish them, that means you can do anything. If you guys want a red Ferrari one day, you can accomplish it, but you're gonna have to go to a place in your life where you have to suffer and you have to do things that you don't want to do. It doesn't just come to you, it doesn't just fall into your lap. Anything that you want to accomplish is gonna take sacrifice, but if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. I hope this motivates you. I hope you guys can get your own red Ferrari or whatever makes you happy in life. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you want to be a fitness model, you can do it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. It's just a matter of how much you want it, how bad you want it, and how much you're willing to sacrifice. Dave Palumbo from the Ferrari dealership here in Newport Beach saying, time to take off.